All right, let's bring in now Democratic strategist Lee Neves. Good afternoon, Lee. As a Democrat, how do you think RFK Jr. did in his testimony this morning?
Look, RFK, it's very clear RFK Jr. is going to have some problems both on the left and on the right. He has positions on both sides that both sides are going to find problematic. I think another wrinkle that gets thrown into it is that I think there is going to be, as a fallout from the fiasco with the executive order banning all federal spending and grants and then having to rescind it today, there is going to be some thought. We need people running the show that know what they're doing, that have some experience, know what they're doing running these very large organizations. Because the Trump administration can't afford screw-ups like just happened with the executive order and rescinding the executive order. They need people in the positions of running these departments that know what they're doing, know how to run these large organizations. And I think that's a line of questioning and some thought that's going to creep into whether Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gets confirmed or not.
Well, the interesting thing is he has opponents on both sides, but he has supporters on both sides. This may be a very interesting vote. I'll say this
for great TV theater.
Exactly, it is, and that's why I look forward to today. And I did watch and listen. I think there are a lot of Americans that, if you strip out a lot of the things, like, frankly, I don't think he should be responsible for his pro-choice position when he's carrying out the orders from his superior, which would be President Trump. He knows that. I think a lot of Americans look at a point he made, Lee, and I think I get the impression you would agree with this, and that is he pointed out that back when his uncle was president, 3% of Americans were considered obese, and now up to 72% are overweight or obese. And he's not necessarily blaming that just on people having poor portion control. He's saying that the food industry is not putting out healthy food. It's taking advantage of people. And I think there are a lot of Americans that agree wholeheartedly with that.
I mean, look, he has something there, and I think a lot of Americans are going to agree with that. Look, when I was growing up, I'm first generation. My mother came over from Portugal, came over from the old country. Everything was made from scratch. It was healthy. I was nice and skinny. Then I went to college and I gained Lord knows how many pounds, and now I have to go to spin class every day to lose it. He is onto something. Look, I do think that the food we eat, the food we consume, the food that gets sold to us, the food that gets grown in the breadbasket of America that I'm in right now, California, Central Valley, that does need to be processed healthier. Notice how here in America, we have a lot of people who have gluten allergies. Somehow in Europe, that doesn't exist. So there is something there. I think that's something all Americans can agree with, that our food needs to be healthier. Our nation in general needs to be healthier. We definitely need to be less obese, more active, eating better, and not eating McDonald's and Burger King 7 days a week.
Lee, I want to switch topics for a moment. Also, today we saw President Trump sign into law the Laken Riley Act. This was bipartisan legislation. John Fetterman, the Pennsylvania senator, Democrat, tweeted out today his support of the bill. He voted for the bill, called it common sense legislation. However, he was one of only one Democrat who went to see the bill's signing. He also appeared on The View earlier this week and took a lot of incoming from the show's hosts who said that he should not be working with Republicans. Why don't we just take a listen to this clip?
I haven't been surprised by anything now. I mean, he's been doing essentially what he actually campaigned on that. He announced he is going to pardon the J6 individuals. He is going to absolutely go after the border. So there's a lot of things that he's already ran on. I mean, criticize a lot of it, and I don't agree with everything either, but it's undeniable he actually ran on that and been really upfront. There's things I'm going to agree with, I'm going to disagree with, but I'm in the business of finding wins for Pennsylvania and for the nation, and engaging the president. I think I see that as doing my job.
Well said. Lee, I mean, do you think Democrats should take a page out of John Fetterman's book?
I think Democrats need to be the loyal opposition. My dog Abby believes so also. But they do need to be the loyal opposition. When they oppose Trump on issues, they need to oppose him. At the same time, where there are issues of commonality, of agreement, like the Lake and Riley Act, where I believe you had 48 or so Democrats, 48, 49 Democrats in the House vote for it. When you have areas of common interest, then you do need to work with the administration. Look, people are elected to the House, they are elected to the Senate, and President Trump was elected to do right by the American people, not to do right by one extreme or the other, but simply to do what is correct for the American people. Are we going to have disagreements on what that is? Yes. And when we have disagreements, the Democrats should be the party of loyal opposition. They need to put forth alternatives that make sense for the American people. But when you can't just oppose things just out of spite.
Yeah, like it's 218, 215 now because of 2 vacancies. So it's going to be hard to get stuff through without a little bipartisanship here and there, which could lead to some controversy as far as what comes out of that. Let's talk to syndicated radio host Rich Valdez of Rich Valdez America at Night. Rich, let's stay on the RFK Jr. topic. What do you think about him? Does he get through? Because both sides have criticism, both sides see something to support.